it makes me think about like auto manufacturers, right? Like we went from people assembling every aspect. I mean, now we're using machine, like robots are assembling a lot of the car.
Right.
I mean, there's some huge similarities there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I think like the tech industry has gotten more industrialized, just like every other industry
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
And I don't think that process is
Surprise.
going to be slowing down. So I think
Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity and maybe a need to start having these conversations as workers about what we want the future to look like.
For real. And the trippy one was reading about the actors, and they're like, well, they scanned my likeness and now they can put me in any movie they want.
Right. Right.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. It's wild reading those stories. And just like there's a lot of problems around consent with AI and like,
Oh
just,
yeah,
just
right.
that assumption of taking a text or an image or a physical likeness, and then
Right.
that's just owned by the training data. It's owned
Yeah, for
by
sure.
the software platform, and you know, is that okay? I don't know if it is.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Where do you stand on using AI in your workflow or what you
Oh,
do? How
yeah.
are you becoming one with the mothership?
Right.
Are you being
Yeah.
assimilated?
Yeah. No, totally. I've got a input at the base of my skull. No, it's
I mean, it's coming, man.
yeah. Well,
I
they'd
just
like
hope
it
I'm in
to.
the ground and gone by the time that happens.
Yeah.
I'm all straight up.
Well, hopefully you and I have a few more years left, but I don't know. I don't use it that much, just
Okay.
because like I don't find it useful as a starting point for most of my work.
Right. Right.
And part of that is, I'll cop to having some, as you've read, some moral and ethical reservations about it, because I do
Yeah.
think that there's so much of the data is trained on copyrighted material, other
Oh
people's
yeah.
likenesses, copyrighted art, text, and it also relies on a lot of like underpaid labor in contractors in other countries, for example, who are being forced to sort of scour all this data to haul out the traumatizing stuff and getting traumatized in the process. So it's hard for me to like let go of that, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think the best I can do is kind of like argue for the issues I care about as a response to AI.
Yeah.
And union contracts, I think, are a big part of that. So yeah.
For sure. I mean that yeah, I mean it comes, it comes out and it's like it's gonna be awesome. And then all of a sudden we're like, wait, there's people that this thing is affecting. Like,
Yeah.
whoops.
Yeah. So I guess like I don't know. I haven't to try to put on my like middle of the road hat a little bit more. Like I haven't come across a use case for large language models yet that's changed the way that I work or changed the way that I think about my work.
Yeah.
But if it happens, I'll let you know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, there's a lawyer. I'm pointing. He's right outside that door,
Okay.
across the way.
Yeah.
And we were talking. He was asking me if I use it, and I was like, I use it in a couple places of workflow. So I use it like take this podcast for example. I will feed the video to a thing, and it will make a transcript, and then it will take the transcript and make a summary.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, without something like AI, I wouldn't even know how to do that anyway,
Right.
without spending $800 for someone to sit there, which, yeah, I guess maybe it's taking somebody's job, but I didn't have that money anyway. Whatever, I'm rationalizing. But this guy, he said that so he's a lawyer, and he will like use it for research, for like case law. And he's like asking it, give me some case law, whatever. And he'll get it, and he'll be like, cool, make me a summary. And it'll make a summary. And so then he's like, then I'll take that and put it in Nexus Lexis. And then none of it exists.
Yep.
Like ChatGPT just made it up. Like, because, we have to remember something like ChatGPT doesn't know the difference between like fiction and nonfiction, and like transcripts from this podcast, and like, documented discourse in a legal room. It just doesn't care. It's just words.
Yeah. Just words. Exactly. I can't remember who called it spicy autocomplete, but that's kind of all it is, right?
That's like a good way to put it.
You ask it for something, and it kind of like scours through all this data that it has, and it's like, okay, well, when this image appears next to this image, I need to provide something similar, or this kind of word follows this kind of word, but it doesn't know truth other than what we kind of tell it.
It has no idea.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, and then there's the questions of like, well, who trained the language model? Like, where'd the language model come from? Who was, what was that? Like, you don't know. I mean, that it gets kind of sticky in my opinion. I think there is definitely some moral and not even like workforce questions in my opinion, like moral issues of like, is this shit even real? Like, you're going to use it to. Where I draw the line is if you're using it to generate something new, you can't claim it's new because it's based on stuff that already exists.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, how can you claim it as new? When I write something and I reference something that already exists, I call it a reference.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious that I'm referencing some things that someone else has done.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Especially in art, like that seems like the whole crux of art. It's all referential, But if you're trying to pass it off as yours, we got problems, Junior.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard. Like I found out my first book appeared in the training data for ChatGPT, I guess.
I bet.
Yeah. So and that was because it was like pirated and somebody put it online, which
Well, this one's in there too. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, okay. Thanks for putting it in there, Gene.
Yeah,